Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is EonShiKeno. I'm going to cast another one of my very own ladder games. And this one is a TVZ. We're on Metalopolis. I'm, of course, our blue Terran player. And the bottom is our Zerg player, Forestwind. He's going for a safe opening with a spawning pool first. And I'm showing my, once again, barrack supply depot at the bottom. Little dealie here. And he's actually going to come harass with this drone. And this is so annoying whenever your SCV is like, I'm like so close. Is it gonna finish? Is it gonna finish? My SCV is so close to being, and oh, he kills it right when it finishes. It's like, how long was that damn SCV sitting here building that that damn barracks? I mean, shit, that took forever. So I lose an SCV. I'm already off to a rough start. But anyway, he hasn't scouted me, and he has no clue whether I'm going 2 barracks or gas or 2 gas. He doesn't know. So I can make my 1 marine. And let me think, what was my strategy going in this game? Have I scouted him out even yet? Let me see here. So yeah, I just not scouted him out. I saw his expansion. And let me close my blinds. There we go. Had a huge glare. But anyway, he's got 2 Zerglings out. Going to run those around the map just to check out for any type of units. And I'm just leaving this SCV over here for the time being, just to scout out how many expansions my Zerg player is going for. And he's just going to be my scout SCV for the entire game. And I saw earlier, I ran this SCV over here at the same time I saw his Overlord over there, so I assumed the Overlord was somewhere, so I'm going to go Overlord hunting with these 2 Marines, and I got lucky, scouted out this Overlord, free Overlord kill us early in the game. It's going to be great. He's supply blocked at 18. At 18 there, it was for a second, but now he just made 26, so he'll be back down to 18 at 18. Or actually, 19 at 18. Yeah, 19 at 18. And so that worked out pretty well for me. I just saw this Overlord early, and I'm like, okay, cool, maybe I can get an Overlord kill. Worked out for me. That was a little nice, so made up for that SCV I lost earlier. And I'm just planning on going for a fairly aggressive opening here, try and do some damage. And at the same time, I'm using my Scout SCV to build a bunker in his base, just because that kind of freaks out Zerg players. And it's going to give me an idea of how many units he's going to have. And I'm just going to build that, take my SCV back here, and let's kind of chill with him. He's just, like I said, going to be my Scout SCV for the entire game. I've just been trying to do that more and more, just keep 1 unit dedicated to scouting how many expansions my opponent is going for, because you don't want your opponent to pop up 2 expansions you don't know of, because for one, it gives you an advantage knowing they're building an expansion, knowing they're going to be weak in their army, because you can't make an expansion and have a great army at the same time. It's one or the other. But anyway, I'm just trying to build up my force here, making some Marines, Marauders, getting Stim up first, and I'm even going to throw in some Hellions. Only on 1 gas so far, so we can check the tab there. You can see kind of hurt him a little bit. Actually salvaged that. So I saw he had 2 queens and a bunch of Zerglings. He didn't have speed yet, which was kind of interesting. But anyway, yeah, that supply block definitely hurt him. So he's still there, 28 out of 28. So I'm assuming that Overlord kind of slowed down his economy quite a bit. So that was a pretty big effect for me. And I was planning on going for this 1 base attack, and so I was hoping that was going to work out for me. So, like I said, I'm just using this guy over here. I just have him on patrol between this base, and this base, because this is going to be one of those 3 is going to be his next base, which is what most Zerg players do. So I'm just scouting all 3 of those. This guy will keep me apprised of how many expansions my opponent has. And like 99% of players don't actually they won't like go to this base with the Zergling, make sure there's no units there, and then build an expansion. People just build it and then forget about it. It's like the George Foreman grill. And anyways. So I'm going in for an attack here. I'm going to try and pressure his front with these Marines, Hellions, Marauders, and I'm just going to use this Reaper to go in the back of his base, maybe get some drone kills and also scout for some information. At the same time, he comes near and hits me at the worst possible timing. I was so pissed when this happened. And I'm like, oh great, I got to go back to my base and save my base. I tried to pull some SCVs up just to keep him busy and actually bait him down here to the bottom, pull my units up and get quite a few kills. I thought that was pretty damn smart thinking on my part. But I'm supply blocked at this point. And I don't know whether he knew, like he had some type of vision on me that I didn't have, but that was just like perfect timing of him. Came down here, really slowed down my attack, and that's going to allow him to build a bunch of forces. You can see he's making 12 Zerglings. He already made all these back. So yeah, that timing was perfect on his part. He completely stopped my attack, because my attack would have already been in his base by now. These Zerglings wouldn't have been out, and yeah, that was a really good attack on his part. That really frustrated me having to deal with that, and I'm like, well shit. He knows I'm attacking, and he saw my expansion, so I'm rebuilding my expansion, building up 2 starports, because I want to switch to Banshee later on, just because I love Banshee versus Zerg. I don't know why, but I just love making Banshee. So I'm sitting in my Hellions first, going to go up here and scout, look for the Zerglings, try and pick off some Zerglings with this attack. And here come the rest of my forces. And he pulls all his queens up here to the high ground, which is pretty smart. But anyways, I'm going to try and go in here for attack. I know he's going to have a bigger army than me, but I've already dedicated to this attack, so I'm trying to get back here in some of these small areas, force them into choke points, which will allow my Hellions to compound. But I'm going to go up here, try and bait him in, and I see all the Zerglings come in, so I'm going to pull him back, just get these Hellions to line up perfectly, kill a bunch of Zerglings, and just do as much damage as possible, get back up here against these units. And you can see how many Zerglings he has left. I killed almost every single Zergling going into this. He even has some units left, so 13 kills on that guy, 5 kills on this guy. And yeah, just basically doing a little damage. I should probably pull these guys away here, but I think I just completely I was microing this guy. So I brought this Reaper in at the exact same time, got 6 kills with that Reaper, plus I scouted his Hydralisk bin. And so even though he's going Hydralisk, I'm like, screw it, I'm going to go Banshees anyway. So this expansion is just about ready to finish. I'm going to pop it down here, throw up my expansion, start macroing, get back in this game. Let's check the count, 23 to 29. So he did kill a couple of my SCVs with that attack, but that also has to do with my really, really bad macro. I just have such bad macro. But yet I'm like a 2400 diamond player, so that just shows you how important macro is. If any, like, you know, silver, bronze, whatever player, it's not diamond, even diamond players, the number one thing about Starcraft, if you want to get better, is be a better macro player. Because if you have better macro, you're going to have more forces in general, and it doesn't even matter how good your macro is. So the number one tip for anybody is just macro as well as possible. And I don't know, my strength just kind of relies on just having really good timing attacks, being really efficient with my attacks, and scouting, I think. You can see this dude I got over here still alive. He's been on patrol. I'm scouting this out, so I know he doesn't have an expansion in any of these places still. And, you know, Zerg players really won't build here unless they just want to lose. So I'm kind of positioning, setting myself up to go for another expansion. And I actually do scout out my expansion before I build there. You can see I ran up all my units just to make sure there wasn't any Zerglings there. And I'm going to build an expansion here pretty soon. I'm throwing down some extra barracks just to make a better wall. And getting my Raven out. I'm actually teching the Banshee later, but I'm just gonna have making one Viking. Gonna go out and do some scouting with that, and he actually does build his expansion here in the middle, and another expansion here at the bottom, which I just scouted. So you can see from my vision, I haven't scouted it yet, but booyah, there it is. And he doesn't see my SCV, so I'm aware of that, and he isn't. So I know there's an expansion here. Actually, I think he just might have scouted it right there. But anyways, I'm aware of this expansion, so I've got a bunch of money. Throwing down an engineering bay, gonna want to get some upgrades later, putting down a factory, just trying to complete this wall off here, get some units up. I'm gonna speed this up here for a second because I know nothing happens for a little bit. But yeah, he's throwing up 2 bases at the same time, and now since I know he has that base down here, I'm gonna stop scouting it, and I'm gonna scout between this base and this base here. I'm gonna go to patrol on those 2, rearranging my patrol, so I'm just scouting these 2 bases from now on. No more reason to scout this base because he'll probably see that and kill it off pretty soon. So he has mostly a Hydra Ling Force, which is something I haven't seen too much of. Now I was kind of thinking, do I want to go more tanks, because tanks don't do full damage against Hydra anymore. They do, you know, reduced damage to Hydra. So I wasn't really planning on getting too many tanks. So you can see I get the Prig Matter Flame upgrade for my Hellions. But here I see this command center, and I think I cancel it, but I don't, and I lose 300 minerals, which is horrible. I always get my command center canceled, and I didn't there, so huge mistake on my part. But anyway, when I play Terran, I just like to get a whole bunch of different type of units. I like to really get a nice, you know, like, I don't know how to say it, a nice mix of units. Like you can see, I've got Hellions, Marauders, Marines. I'm building this Raven for a point defense drone since I saw he was going Hydra. Got 1 medevac just to do some drops with, just try, you know, mix it up a little bit. I don't know why I like mixing it up, but now I'm starting to add in Banshees, because I know if he's not going to have an Overseer, which is actually what he's got right here, he's going to scout this out. But if you can control that Overseer, pick it off, Banshees will just wreck an entire Zerg army, because if I play a lot of games against Zerg, and Zergs just don't make like more than like 1 or 2 Overseers, and in fights where you can just kill an Overseer instantly, and they don't have no way to get vision, your Banshees will just wreck their entire army, wreck their entire base. So I'm going up here for a push, using this Raven, killing off some creep tumors, push that back, and going in here for an attack. Pushing up, I was actually trying to focus fire police overlords, but not happening. Anyways, I see all these Zerglings come in, try to pull back, siege my tanks, throw down a point defense drone, and pull my units back. I'm trying to focus my tanks to focus on killing these Hydra. I don't want friendly fire to go on. And I'm actually gonna... This is actually a pretty close fight here. These focus fires down, kills that tank at first, and kills the second tank. And this fight's going on pretty well, so we actually almost trade equal number of units there. He's rebuilding 42 Zerglings. Excuse me. Rebuilding 42 Zerglings. Whoops. Let's check the food count. So 85 or 69. So I actually think I came out ahead there in that fight. I did have pre-igniter Hellions, so that did a bunch of damage at point defense drones, soaked up a bunch of Hydra attacks, and Marines with stim, combat shield, marauders. And now I'm starting to throw in the Banshees. You can see the Banshees on full. Actually, those are dropships. I don't know what the hell I need dropships for. Anyways, I'm throwing on 2 more factory because I want to make a lot of Hellions. I'm going to turn both of these into reactor factories just to mass produce Hellions. Man, I got this Raven hanging out up here. That doesn't die. But anyway, he's pushing up here using these Zerglings to scout with, making sure I don't have this third yet, which is really important. So anyways, I just fight that off, and now I know, okay, if I want to make this game last for like another 10 minutes, I'm going to need another expansion. So I'm setting up my tanks, I'm setting up my army in this area so I can put up an expansion. I need an expansion. I've got way too much money, and I'm going to actually send this little SCV over there to build an expansion, throw down some bunkers also. So I have this Viking, he was flying around scouting, and I kind of forgot about him, I think, at one point. It was a mistake on my part, but there we go. I remember that my Raven is down there still checking stuff out, and he falls back. Now, he has this hatchery here, but he hasn't really made many more drones. You can check the drone count, 47, 46. So, well, a bunch of Banelings. Okay, it's a lot of Banelings. But I'm just putting all these units up here just in front just to deal with that. He's pushing up some spine crawlers, really smart move, like that. But I'm just rallying all my units up here, just in between both of my bases for a good position. I maybe should be rallying them maybe a little bit more over here, but I don't know. I like rallying them here in this position. Put 2 units here in the front. I got this Hellion and Marauder on hold position so they can't do a Zergling run by. But I think there might be a spot to fit one on over here. And this guy, you see that Changeling? He does like 7 Changelings in a row on me. You can see he's got another one here. I catch every single one of those damn Changelings. He must be pretty furious because I was just like, as soon as I saw the first one, I'm like, okay, I'm on the eye for Changelings. So you can see another one coming up here. I better kill this guy because otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot. So anyway, I see this dude running in, and yep, got him too. But he seriously like attacked me with land attack, but ran in like 4 Changelings. Here comes some more Changelings in. And look at, that's my SCV still scouting, of course, but he just runs these Changelings in like all over the time, and I'm like, how many Changelings does this dude have? He's like, they come in one after another after another. Then I'm on the eye for him. So I'm just trying to build a bunch of units, get some upgrades, get cloak. Here comes another one, boom, right in the face. You're dead, buddy. So I figured, you know what? I killed his entire Changeling army. Time to go for an attack. But anyways, I throw in 3 SCVs into this army just for repair, because that's good stuff. I've got 1, 2, I can't count anymore, 4 Banshees. So I come over here, just scout this out to make sure he doesn't have the base. And I'm going to go on the attack. I'm going to attack down here to the bottom. And at the same time, I still got this dude on patrol, make sure there's no bases over here. He's got a pretty big army, Banelings, Zerglings, Hydra, but my army mix is just all over the map. I mean, Hellions, I don't know what I'm doing here. Run the Hellions in first, losing the spine crawlers like an idiot. That was a huge mistake. But anyway, some of those SCVs are actually repairing. Here he comes with all the Banelings, and I'm just not even paying attention to these. All of my units, all of my infantry, basically except Marauder die. Anyways, I'm sieging up. Here's the good part. Tanks are sieging up. Banshees with Cloak are going to basically wreck all these Hydras. And yeah, so here comes the Overseer, and now I have to run, unfortunately. So that fight went horribly for me. Like, I just moved in there, lost as a Hellions. I wasn't paying attention when all those Banelings came in there and killed everything. I wasn't tank sieged up. That was just really bad. But fortunately, I got my 3rd up. It's running safe. I got a planetary fortress up, 2 tanks defending it, and he's going to lose a bunch of Zerglings right there. Lost about 7 or 8 Zerglings. So he's making 22 Hydra at the same time. Wow. Let's check the food count. 140 for him, 110 for me. He has a lot more resources than me. Just spent a bunch of larvae though. So he could probably use a macro hatchery at this point. But he's spreading his creep still pretty well. This one I denied, so that one hasn't really been rebuilt. But he's sticking with Hydra and Ling, and I'm just going to keep going with the same thing I was going for, except maybe a few more Hellions this time because I do have these reactor factories going. I'm going to pump out a bunch of Hellions, and I've actually started getting upgrades. I got the 1 attack upgrade for Mercenaries, and so my Hellions now do 26 damage. I got some more SCVs with repair, and I got some more Banshees, because I still have my Banshees from the last fight. That's the great thing about having Banshees in fights is, even if you lose the fight, you should be able to save your Banshees. You should be able to cloak them, run away, so they'll still be with your next army. So now I'm doing a little bit smarter. I'm actually positioning to build a base here in the middle. I siege a tank, and I kind of forget about him actually, and I'm going to go on the attack. So I scan, kill down some, kill these creep tumors off because I want to keep those creep tumors as far away as possible. Also scan for banelings. It's a 2-for-1 hitter. He's trying to spread out his army here, get some Zerglings and Hydras over on the left. And I still have forgot about this Viking, man. I don't think I remember about that Viking forever for this whole game. He's just on vacation or something. But anyway, yeah, I'm positioning myself for my 4th base here at the middle. I can easily defend this with tanks. Hellions set up a bunch of bunkers, make a lot of choke points, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. And at this point, I really should be using these Banshees to attack this position here, but I kind of am busy with these Hellions, killing stuff. So that's probably what I should be doing with there. Building another base. And just rallying all my units here. I got all these Banshees and Ravens up here at the top, and those will come in handy later. I don't know, I like rallying here, and I'm just kind of using these Hellions to get some kills, and they do so much damage to Zerglings. Look at that. It's like every time they stop to shoot, I'm kind of baiting them back here and here, and boom, look at that. All those Zerglings are all dead. So he sacrifices his entire Zergling force. Oh yeah, sorry. Forgot about this. Same time, send my Banshees in, go for an attack. I just love multi-pronged attacks. As Terran, as any race basically, just do as much damage as possible, like 7 kills, 14 kills. Economy 55 to 54, so I somehow am back in the game with Harvesters, even though he's on 4 bases now. But yeah, I got so many kills with those Hellions, just killed off basically every single Zergling he had. I only lost about 6 Hellions, so that was a great trade for me. And I'm just trying to bring up all my forces. I like to not show my entire army until I attack, of course, so even if he does have vision of these Zelnaga towers, he can see what I'm going for here. But I got another huge army here going in for a push. He's actually building a Nidus Canal. And food count 166 versus 140, so working out for me. I killed a whole bunch of units with those Hellions, so that worked out pretty nice. So I know he's not going to have very many Zerglings in this next attack. And he's got that Overlord upgrade, so he might be going for a drop in my base. But he's got 2/2 upgrades on his Hydra list, so that's pretty nice. Using these Ravens, killing off those creep tumors, and I'm actually going to try and take out this base here. So I siege up, and I see those banelings morphing in that are a little too close, so I'm going to go try and pick those off. Use these tanks as a fallback point, and I'm going to push up with my Banshees, and use point defense drones to deal with these Hydra. So I got 3 Ravens full of energy, Senses and banelings, and now the attack comes. Tanks, 3-point defense drones I just threw down, and Baneling's coming here in the back. He's trying to get back there, kill off all my tanks, but I looked at all these Banshees. I got 5 Banshees up there, dealing ridiculous amounts of damage. So basically, he lost his entire army, and I still have 5 Banshees and 2 Ravens. That's the great thing about Banshees is that, you know, like the Banelings can't kill them, of course. Zerglings can't kill them. The only thing that can really kill them is, you know, Hydra, Corruptors, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Or Mutalisk also, but he didn't go for Mutalisk tech this game. You can see right now that he's kind of realized that the Banshees are kind of wrecking him at this point. And like, look at this kills: 20 kills, 7 kills, 12 or 7, 12, 20 kills. Yes, and yeah, the Banshees are kind of wrecking him. So he's switching tech into Muta or to Spire, which is a smart thing to do. He actually pulls his queens back from the middle there, keeping them alive. Really smart deal. And he's going in here for another attack with these Zerglings. Not quite sure what he was doing with there, if he's just trying to scout or something, but he throws a, oh yeah, sorry, at the same time I send 1 Banshee over here, 1 Banshee over here, in the middle of that whole fight. So I kill off every single worker of this expansion, 14 kills in this guy, 8 kills in this guy's. But like I said, every time I attack, I try to get a multi-prong attack. I saw him send some Hydralisks over, so I cloak, killed him off. He actually burrows, so I'm assuming there's a Overseer coming, so I scout the Overseer with these Hellions, and I got a whole bunch more Banshees at this point. So I see the Overseer coming, so I run away, keep those guys alive, send my army in here, just like Hellions, Banshees, a couple tanks, a couple infantry, come down here, regroup up, and take up this expansion. So yeah, like I said, every attack you can do, just try and hit 2 places at once, and your opponent will more than likely not be ready for the second attack and not be paying attention to it. They'll just be too focused on the main attack. and they just won't realize that. You hear your unit is under attack. They don't realize that it's not at the main fight. It's like it's your expansion. So I just killed a whole bunch of units here, with just 2 Banshees, and just really shut down both of those expansions. So at the same time, I killed this expansion, I killed this expansion, and I killed this expansion, just separating your forces up. He actually sneaks in a expansion over here, but I don't scout that. That was a little bit of a mistake on my part, but I did scout both of these out with that SCV that was on patrol, so he worked out pretty well for me. And this Viking is just chilling back here. He's had the best day ever. So, I mean, at this point, the economy is really in my favor. You can check it out now. 55 versus 38. I just crushed 3 of his bases, and I got this gold, so it's looking pretty good for me at this point. I'm pretty confident. I know I've got a whole bunch of Banshees, and if I need to tech switch to kill Muta, I can do that really easily. I can just switch this guy, start making Thors. I can start making Vikings, which is what I'm doing actually right now anyway. And did I actually scout that? No, I haven't scouted the Mutalisks yet, but yeah, I just have a really big force, a lot of Hellions with still one attack upgrade. I should have got that second one. Mistake on my part. I got a bunch of gas, so bad macro, bad macro. Going in here for another attack. Just trying to finish it up. Like I said, bring along some SCVs to do some repair. I got a couple Marines in there. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty secure. I know I'm way ahead. I don't really want to do any stupid fights. I want to just get, safe fights. So anyway, all my Marines are hiding underneath there. Throw down a point defense drone. That'll protect my Marines for a while. You can throw down some auto turrets to hold these Muta off. And I'm just trying to make a point here in between, like most of his bases that I can fall back to if these Muta come and attack me. And at this point, I'm kind of just cloaking in my Banshees to kill stuff, running my Hellions in there, and bringing the Vikings, just trying to, kill them at this point. And at the same time, I'm building a whole bunch of barracks over here to make a wall off. I was planning on building expansion here, but most of these are just for Marines. But at the same time, choosing Vikings, Marines, Hellions, killing off everything, pulling my tanks and Marauders back to those auto turrets, using these Hellions to actually ran them over here, killed a whole bunch of drones. He actually burrowed. Smart move there, saved a couple of them. But, yep, just using these Banshees. And with this many Banshees, you can just go kill all the tech of all the Zerg player. And within like 30 seconds, you can kill every tech building in a Zerg player's base with Banshees and severely limit the units they can go with. And this just is like one of the worst things to deal with the Zerg. Trust me, it's Banshees. Some people call them flying DTs. It's basically true. And because you need movable vision to deal with them, and they don't have scans, so they have to rely on only overseers. So I got a bunch of money. I'm throwing out 2 command centers, and he actually brings in some, actually hatches some Hydra from this base. And this is, I think, the first time I scouted when those Banshees flew over. So I deal with that. And like I said, whenever the game is this far into the game, it's really late. I want to play safe. I stop being risky to start playing safe. Just try and outlast him. And he gets a changeling in here. Oh man, he gets a changeling into my army. That's even worse than losing. I can't believe I let that happen. Look at that guy. He sees everything. Anyways, besides my changeling defeat, I'm just building a bunch of Marines. I know that at this point I got the game when I killed like all of his tech. I killed his Hydralisk, killed the Mutalisk, so he's not making much of anything. And yeah, I just love Banshees. I just love having a really nice mix of Terran units. That way, if because the Zerg player, as a Zerg player, I played a lot of games of Zerg. I played more games of Zerg on ladder than Terran. So he throws down a GG, cool stuff. Long game, long fun game on Metalopolis. But like I was saying, I played more games of Zerg than I have as Terran on ladder. So I know how Zerg players play. I know how I played Zerg. And as Zerg, you kind of just get like a whole bunch of one type of unit or a whole bunch of 2 types of unit. Maybe you go like Ling, Muta, Baneling, but that's like basically 2 types of units. When I play Terran, it really gives me the option to make like a little bit of everything, and you're so much more flexible. If you can like shut down one type of tech against them, and just let your other type of unit really kill everything else they have. If you just like micro that one type of unit that beats their entire control group of units, like I did with the Hellions earlier. I saw he had a whole bunch of Zerglings, and just using like six or seven Hellions, you just use that small part of your army to the most effectiveness. You just let the rest of your army like do whatever, move with them, put the tanks in siege, whatever, and just micro that one part of your army that's the most effective against the rest of their army. And that's what I like about Terran, is they can just be really effective and have like a really nice mix of units. Whereas Zerg, I don't feel like I've had got the option. I don't know. It's like whenever I play Zerg, I want to make like, oh, I'm gonna make only roaches, or I want to make a bunch of mutalisks and Zerglings in. I don't know. That's just how I like to play. You just get like a little bit of everything. That way, the Zerg player can't be like, okay, he's going a bunch of bio. I want to make only Zerglings and Banelings because I got tanks, I got Banshee, I got some Vikings and some Hellions. Just get a nice mix, and I don't know. That's the way I love playing Terran. Just get a little bit of everything, spice it up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this game on Metalopolis. And it's going to come out around Christmas. So Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Sorry if I forgot any other holiday happening over the break, but hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave comments on my YouTube page.